Hello and welcome to the Bear Daily Brief. I am Bear of BearIndependent.com. Thank you all for being here. I have a ridiculous life, in a good way, ridiculous life, but that's in large part because of y'all being here. So thank you very much for being here. Please, if you feel led to do so, like, comment, subscribe, share. Kick this free YouTube content out to everybody that you care about. Let the people know. And huge shout out to the Bear Nation. Thank you, boys and girls. You guys are legit tremendous. The intel, the quality of the intel that we receive on the daily is absolutely awesome. And many, many thanks to all the dance monkeys at the Bear Independent Intel staff. You guys are killing it. And I really appreciate it. This whole thing is just freaking wonderful. It's odd that the world is ending-ish, and that there's this kind of a silver lining or this type of fulfillment for me to do this with y'all. So thank you. And huge shout out to our patrons. If you want this written report, you can find it on Patreon. Just go to Patreon, look for Bear Independent. You'll find us. $1 or more per month, a minimum of 24 exclusive pieces of content on Patreon, talking about growing food and doing security and ham radio today and all the things, man, all the things. How do I get my spouse on board? 14 Patreon videos about it. Hey Bear, what kind of AR do I need for the zombie apocalypse? 12 videos on it. Hey, what should I do for exercise? 10 videos on that. What kind of boots do you like? 16 videos on it. Like, it's all there, man. It's all there. So, lastly, if you are interested, we are still shipping. We're shipping like crazy out of the Bear store. BearIndependent.com. Click the goods and gear tab. We got IFAKs, individual first aid kits, handmade in America by Americans, guaranteed forever, with the best North American rescue contents inside of them. Legitimately better than what is issued to our armed forces right now. That's legit. Serving overseas, saving lots of lives. They're the best kits ever. Currently being used by law enforcement officers as well. This got wet what?
The same way.
What are you trying to tell me right now?
I don't know.
I'm kind of in the middle of something. So, no, you're here now. What's up?
I just wanted this.
And then what? It got wet and then what? What are we doing with it? What is it?
It's a battery.
And a battery and a what?
Drill.
Where do batteries and drills go? In the barn. Ding, ding, ding. Thank you, son. All right. So, anyway, check us out at the web store, BearIndependent.com, for all the things and the stuff. Overview. Well, first of all, overview. First time today, really, that I've got to sit down, and we're going to have a little bit of Long Branch. Thank you, Christopher Phelps. Appreciate it. Indeed. What is this? Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, oak and Texas mesquite, charcoal refined, 43% alcohol by volume. It's good. It's tasty. I love it. It's super good. Overview. The number of confirmed cases worldwide and in the U.S. continues to climb. As of the time of this reporting, the official numbers are as follows. 928,500 global cases, 46,500 global deaths. Global recoveries are 193,750. U.S. cases are 211,408. U.S. deaths are 4,718. And U.S. recoveries are 8,805. The Montana Standard reported small businesses seeking loans through the government's $2 trillion coronavirus relief program could receive money as soon as Friday. We'll see, won't we? In Kentucky, some judges are now ordering COVID-19 patients who defy the stay-at-home order to wear GPS ankle bracelets. That's just jacked up, man. Now, I get it. We're in a state of emergency. I get it. But it just... What about freedom of movement? I get it. And perhaps the problem is freedom of movement is the problem. We got to quarantine everybody. We got to slow the spread. We got to flatten the curve. Uh-huh. And on the one hand, I get it. The government shouldn't be slapping ankle bracelets on anybody. On the other hand, people need to act like adults so that you don't need to get an ankle bracelet slapped on your ankle. Somewhere in there, there's a sweet spot called personal responsibility. Maybe I'm just not a realist or being realistic enough here, but I would really like it if we didn't have to fine and confine people because of this COVID-19 thing. In Rochester, New York, hospitals have tightened their policies after a man exposed to coronavirus hid his symptoms from staff at Strong Memorial Hospital so he could join his expectant wife in the maternity center. Shortly after giving birth, his wife began to show symptoms of COVID-19 as well. Good work, bro. Panama City's Navy Surface Warfare Center has developed a prototype for a DIY ventilator. This is very cool, actually. Per the Herald News, the prototype costs $254, weighs 35 pounds, uses things you can buy in any local hardware or auto parts store, and can be assembled by anyone using only household tools. The Naval Surface Warfare Center mechanical engineer Andrew Schicho, S-C-H-I-C-H-O, get a new name, bro, that's a difficult last name, said in a statement, it runs on 120 volts alternating current, has an onboard battery backup, is portable enough to be carried by one person, and can be built in about a day. That's cool. That's legit cool. From 1010 Winds in New York, at least 2,800 FDNY members, fire department, firefighters, nearly 16.5% of the department were out sick Tuesday as the coronavirus continued to hit New York City especially hard. A senior FDNY official told Fox News that the number of members out sick includes 23% of EMS workers and 16% of firefighters. The department has 17,000 members. At least 282 FDNY members have tested positive for the coronavirus. Fox News reported that a pastor in Pennsylvania said he plans to organize an outdoor Woodstock-like service in protest of coronavirus stay-at-home orders and following the arrests of multiple pastors in the U.S. for allegedly violating such orders. The toddlers are toddling. The evangelist said he will hold a national gathering, an outdoor Easter blowout service, even though a Florida pastor was arrested Monday for holding services the day before, potentially placing attendees at risk for COVID-19. The governor recently put the entire state under orders as the cases in the Commonwealth neared 6,000. Now, let's have a brief discussion about this. The First Amendment gives us the right for religious expression and observance as we see fit. And if this guy wants to do this, go for it, homie. Absolutely. Go for it. Well, that's irresponsible. Yeah. But, personal responsibility. Don't go if it's irresponsible. Go if you feel convicted to go. Here's the thing. And somebody out there needs somebody to say this to you, so I'm just going to say this to you. Easter is a pagan holiday. It's the spring equinox, and Ishtar is a lowercase g goddess of fertility, which is how you end up with bunnies, poop, and eggs. It has absolutely nothing to do with the death and resurrection of Messiah. Not a damn thing. Now, as a firm believer in the resurrection, firm believer in Messiah, we will be celebrating Passover because we're commanded to do it, and it's not a pagan holiday, which the Most High hates and calls an abomination. Now, all of that, give me 30 more seconds. Give me 30 more seconds. all that ties into this. In Exodus chapter 12. And yeah, I'm going here because I can. It's my show. Exodus chapter 12. Verse 13. This is talking about the blood of the Lamb, right? If you count yourself a Christian, you are covered by the blood of the Lamb, right? Well, this is where this comes from. And the blood shall be a sign for you on the houses where you are. And when I see the blood, I shall pass over you, the Passover, and let the plague not come on you to destroy you when I strike the land of Mitzrayim, the land of bondage and slavery, the land that has subjected the Father's people. If you find yourself creeping up on this Easter holiday going, there's got to be something deeper, more meaningful to this relationship with my Creator and this relationship with my Redeemer, I would just simply encourage you to research the actuality of Easter and read about Passover, because it's completely prophetic of Jesus the Christ, of Yeshua Messiah, and it's not a pagan abomination. Cool. Back to the news. But this guy still has the right to do whatever the hell he wants to do. If he wants to have a giant pagan abomination ceremony, go for it, bro. 2 or more eyewitness accounts. Continuity of infrastructure and supply chain, repeating, essential business personnel, travel permission letters, placards, etc. are being issued nationwide to continue critical infrastructure operations and supply. We are now starting to receive some from Arkansas, which currently has no official orders in place, which means they're coming. Legal and political. Updated list. Places seriously considering or already instituting essential services only, travel restrictions, stay-at-home orders, shelter-in-place orders, or similar official proclamations. California, New York, Illinois, Ohio, Connecticut, Oregon, Louisiana, New Jersey, Indiana, Delaware, Michigan, Virginia, Wisconsin, Washington, New Mexico, West Virginia, Colorado, Idaho, Hawaii, Montana, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Alaska, Minnesota, Vermont, New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Kansas, Maryland, Arizona, Maine, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Florida, Louisiana, Texas, and Alabama. The orders for both Texas and Alabama are not called stay-at-home orders, but they are so utterly similar that they are on the list, for a total of 38 states. Earlier in the week, it's just what, Wednesday? Today's Wednesday? On Monday, there were only 30 states on that list. Things are progressing. States with partial restriction or select areas under restriction. Georgia, South Carolina, Missouri, Mississippi, Oklahoma and the Oklahoma City and Tulsa areas, Wyoming and Utah, for a total of 7 partially restricted states. And there are 5 states that remain open with no official orders. That will likely change in the next couple of weeks. Yesterday, Trump said at the daily press brief that we are in for a very challenging next couple of weeks. I believe him to be correct, and we're going to see what happens. Several places have enacted curfews, and a few places, such as Marion County, Alabama, have established 24-hour curfews that are essentially the same as stay-at-home orders, allowing necessary travel. The First Nations people, the Crow tribe, has barred any recreational travel into the reservation. The Navajo Nation has told its people to stay home as much as possible and has enacted a curfew. Order enforcement. In Oregon, violations of the stay-at-home order can be punishable by up to 30 days in jail and a $1,250 fine. In Maryland, it could be 1 year in jail and or a $5,000 fine. In Alaska, the classification of the misdemeanor means it is possible a person failing to follow the mandates could be criminally prosecuted for reckless endangerment and subject to up to a $25,000 fine. Well, that's interesting, because if the judge shows up, if you're arraigned on these charges and the judge shows up, then is not the judge also violating the same exact order and therefore subject to up to a $25,000 fine as well? I'm not saying I'm a defense attorney, but I've watched some Law and Order here and there. And the guy who arrests you should also be charged with this. And the guy that books you should also be charged with this. Like, we're getting stupid. We are approaching the point where, you know what, it's just like Gulag Light. Gulag Light. Yeah, you broke the law first. And I had to break the law to put you on trial for breaking the law. So you pay $25K. I'm not going to pay $25K because it was my job for me to break the law, but you broke the law, so now you're going to pay $25K. Roger that. Gosh, Bear, you're so combative today. Sorry, guys. It's been a day. It's been a day. I got a headache that's going from here right through the center of my face. It's like somebody smacked me with an axe. Boom. Bah, right there. So, it's pretty tremendous. I'm not gonna lie. And look at this hair. See this hair? The best hair. Everybody tells me it's the best. Look. There we go. We'll just make it terrible. Perfect. All right. Several places, Montana, Rhode Island, etc., have now enacted a 14-day self-quarantine for non-commercial travelers or travelers from highly affected states. New additions. Wisconsin's governor requested a presidential disaster declaration. The reason they do that is because that opens them up to more federal funds. If it's a presidentially declared declaration, then they have access to more money. Right now, this is being done on the state level by the governors, as it probably should be, but it's being managed through FEMA, which of course has access to federal funds. But if you get a presidentially declared disaster declaration, the money game changes. The Montana governor has barred evictions, foreclosures, utility shutoffs, and the charging of late fees and other penalties during the stay-at-home order. Cumming, Georgia, 150 special policemen. Brown shirts? Are these brown shirts? I mean, I need some pics. By the way, there are a lot of pics up on Patreon. You go to patreon.com. The entirety of this report is there, and there are a lot of pics up at Patreon. None of brown shirts, but a lot of the documents that came in today, the ones that were not so sensitive that they couldn't be reproduced digitally, are up on Patreon, which we do every day. We try and post a little bit more context around this report at Patreon daily. In Cumming, Georgia, 150 brown shirts, aka special policemen, will be sworn in to enforce the new social distancing order. Military. Many states have activated their National Guards, including Missouri, Florida, Iowa, Louisiana, New York, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Maryland, California, Wisconsin, Texas, and Washington. Many continue to note unusual military activity in the air and around bases, as is to be expected due to canceled drills, trainings, deployments, etc. Again, as of right now, we are not aware of any National Guard units that have been issued weapons or ammunition. They are just simply there to assist in their support personnel. That's the role that they're taking. If you have intel to the contrary, like legit intel, not my brother's cousin's uncle's nephew said, please email us, intel@bearindependent.com, intel@bearindependent.com, intel@bearindependent.com. Let's all take a moment to hydrate. All right. Medical. Several people have noted that their hospitals will have nurses work until they show symptoms. In some cases, the hospitals do not support testing. In others, the test results are simply not considered. The policy varies by hospital system. This is concerning, as studies show that the transmission of the disease can occur 1 to 3 days before symptoms appear, meaning that there are sick people working in the hospitals giving the disease to healthy people, creating more sick people. Remember, the reported number of positive tests is likely far lower than the current reality for several reasons. 1, only a minority of cases are tested at all. And 2, there is a delay between administering the test and getting the results to the public. It first must be sent to a lab, then processed, then reported to the state health department, which then reports it to the public. So as I've said repeatedly, the numbers that we report to you today are really the numbers from about 2 weeks ago. Societal in general. In Houston, burglaries of businesses are up 18.9% since the non-essential closures. It's tiny, 18.9%. It's not a noticeable increase at all. Where's the brown shirts when you need them? You know what I mean?
I'm honestly surprised Houston's not worse than 18.9%.
Right? You could put one person in each store, and then when the cops aren't arresting anybody for like anything other than rape, murder, pillage. But pillaging is cool apparently. But if you put one person in each store, and then when somebody comes to rob you, you just walk right up to them, and the person that's robbing you is now violating the social distancing order. They're within 6 feet. Then you can call the brown shirts. Then the brown shirts will come arrest them for violating the social distancing order. Pay no mind to the fact that they were there to rob you in the first place, right? Capitalism. There's always a workaround. The invisible hand of capitalism. The marketplace will always figure this out. Gosh, the world is retarded. I don't even think I can say that anymore. I think that's hate speech. I think I just and demonetized. Many in the Midwest have now noted increasing and or overwhelming numbers of license plates from hard-hit areas. Some people are traveling hundreds of miles specifically to wipe out the stores. Others are leaving to escape the virus and or the quarantine, but often fall ill after bugging out, possibly spreading the disease at gas and grocery stops along the way. Checkpoints are beginning in various areas, from Rhode Island to native tribelands to small towns. Under the heading of natural disasters, Idaho experienced a 6.5 magnitude earthquake, the largest in the state since 1983. No injuries or damage have been reported so far. We'll quickly run through some of the single account insider intel stuff and miscellaneous. Again, the entirety of this report is on Patreon. And if you're like, just as a brief shout out, if you need the things, if like you're realizing you're a little bit behind the curve when it comes to preparedness and you need the things, go to adventurefrontier.com. Please, just go to adventurefrontier.com. That's my brother, the NWA Prepper. He's awesome. He has a great store. Just like we are a small business that supports 9 households right now of real people, he is a small business that's supporting many households as well through this turbulent economic time. He's got armor, he's got my blowout kits, he's got Spyderco knives and Kershaw knives and SOG knives and tents and blah blah. He's got all the blah blahs for prepping. I haven't checked his inventory on Mountain House lately, but I know he did have Mountain House. So go to adventurefrontier.com, go check him out, go tell him Bear sent you, say hello, and go check out the channel NWA Prepper and say hello as well. Tell him Bear sent you. One of my favorite things about watching his videos is I can't stay in a bad mood when I watch him. I'm gonna have to watch an NWA video after this. Just not that I'm in a bad mood. It'll probably cure this axe split of a headache that I have, just because he's such a positive, awesome brother. Oh man, he's a great guy. It's a blessing for me to know him, and so you guys should just go say hey to the NWA Prepper and adventurefrontier.com. Awesome. Single accounts, insider intel, and miscellaneous. Upstate South Carolina is apparently a thing. In upstate South Carolina, Sam's Club restocked toilet paper one night and did not sell out until around 2 p.m. the following day. People were maintaining social distance. Stores have some food. Many businesses are closed. I feel like we should do, like, we should start doing these in the laconic mode of writing, like the Spartans were known for speaking in. Let's see if I can do this next one. Furnace filter, filter virus, DIY mask, consider, alternative to cloth. Did you get the point? Did that make sense? Or should I do it again for real?
Made sense to me.
I'll do it again. Furnace filters may filter viruses and bacteria. For DIY masks, consider researching this as an alternative to just cloth. And no, Dance Monkeys, that's not against you at all. I just recently listened to a podcast of Dan Carlin's Hardcore History where he was talking about laconic phrases, and it stuck in my mind, like use as few words as possible, which clearly I'm not good at doing, so I apologize. Despite President Trump's decision to have gun stores listed as an essential business, gun stores are closed in many places until further notice upon state orders. Online stores, especially prepper items and preparedness specialized stores, are experiencing a huge influx of demand and are working very hard to keep up. Again, adventurefrontier.com, bearindependent.com. Hell, thepreppingpug.com. They sent me a mug one time. I like them. They really did. They have a cool logo. It's a pug with a gas mask on. It could be like a Canadian prepper thumbnail. You know, it's pretty cool. I like their logo. They're good people. I talked to them on the phone a couple times. There is currently a delay in shipping and availability as the demand is so suddenly greater than the current supply. Unless you be buying Bearfax at my store, yo, we are shipping like cray-cray. So we do not have a demand, well, demand is up, which is awesome, but we do not have a supply issue. So if you want to get the world's best individual first aid kit, and that's not me saying that, that's the Air Force PJ saying that, Army Special Forces saying that, Marines saying that, a couple of units deployed in the sandbox saying that, nurses in the South China Sea saying that, sheriff's departments and law enforcement officers saying that, then you can get it at bearindependent.com. Made in America, guaranteed forever. If you break it, I'll send you a new one. North American Rescue Components, tremendous, believe me. So, law enforcement officers from 3 separate agencies reported to one of our contributors that inmates have been released from Hamilton and Ray County, RHEA counties in Tennessee, as both counties are attempting to, quote, empty their jails, end quote, due to having no budget for pandemic health care and an ongoing employee shortage. That's a freaking great policy. Good job, everybody. This has not been reported in the local news. You think? So if you were in Hamilton or Ray counties, Tennessee, RHEA, Tennessee, you better harden up your security. One viewer noticed that 1, international airports increase the rate of infection, and 2, the spread tends to follow major interstates leading away from those airports. It goes without saying that avoiding major travel routes and international airports would be a good idea right now. We did post a map of airports and major routes on Patreon, so you can check that out there. International. In the UK, there is a potential for blackouts due to a reduced non-essential workforce. Households are being told to keep torches, or flashlights, and warm clothing nearby, not like torches. I always think of like torches and pitchforks, which you can't do. It would be a much less imposing crowd if everybody was 6 feet apart. But if you were 6 feet apart on grid and marching in lockstep, it would actually be even more imposing.
Brown shirtish.
It would be brown shirtish, you are correct. No crystal knocking, people. That's not a good idea. I do not approve that message. I think brown shirts were stupid. Simmer down, light. Torches, blah, blah, blah. I lost it. There it is. And warm clothing nearby in case of blackouts during the lockdown because of energy firms across the UK have put a pause on non-essential work. One more thing about the grid, and then we're going to have a quick discussion. The power fluctuation in disconfirmations, the power fluctuations discussion and the wind blew, and contestation is ongoing between two of our contributors. While there is too much information to continually list here, we at Bear Independent would like to remind everyone, always, always be prepared for power outages, regardless of the technicalities, what is going on in the energy infrastructure. Blackouts can happen for many reasons. Please do what you can to have what you need to get by without power, just in case. And we're going to stop here just for a quick moment because hopefully y'all have done an area study. Hello, Weez. A toddler is chasing 8 small chickens. When I say small, I mean maybe about that big. And she's saying, come back. And they're not. Their chickens aren't very good listeners. Grid down is your #1 disruptive threat. And if you have done your, thank you, dog. If you've done your area study, you will know this. Disruptive threats lead to, hey, Dad, I want to be on camera too. Can I be on camera, Dad? Hey, Dad, I want to be on the internet. Hi. Okay. Bye, Sam. Grid down threats lead to regular and irregular threats. It is your #1 disruptive threat. Power will not, without power, water, for most of y'all, water will not flow. Sewage will not flow. Goods and services will not flow. Refrigeration stops. Fuel stops. Everything stops. It is your #1 disruptive threat. So if you do not have provision right now for dealing with the interruption of the flow of electrons, you need that. What, Weez? I can't push you on the swing right now. I'm talking to the internet. I'll push you in 1 minute, okay? When I'm done? When I'm done talking to the internet? Okay, I'll push you on the swing when I'm done talking to the internet. Okay? Did you get those chickens? No? Oh, they ran in there? Okay. Good job. Okay, anyway, back to the 858 people who are here. You're welcome. Real life. Grid down is your #1 disruptive threat. Do an area study. I have a video on it in the Prepper Classroom. You can also check out the channel Forward Observer. He has a lot of videos on how to put together an intel study, an area study rather. But you need to understand the downstream ramifications of electricity stopping for you. And for the vast majority of Americans, it's pretty damn terrible. And so you should treat it as such, because the more things like this coronavirus happen, or the more of this coronavirus that continues to happen here in the United States, the higher the probability, not the probability and possibility. Possibility is always there, but the probability goes up the longer this thing goes, that we have either localized, regional, or national power outages. If we do, things get real. There's no commo without power. There's no water without power. Your shelter may become untenable without power. There's no food without power. There's no fuel without power. There's no medical without power. Repeat, no medical without power. We're already in a really bad position, medically speaking, as a nation right now. There's no medical without power. So, you need to take grid down extremely seriously. And not just like, well, when the reptilian overlords land their mothership in the field back there and the EMP goes out and blows out all the power No, like, it could be something as simple in your area that, say, a tornado comes through, like what happened in Jonesboro. And there's not enough people to go around, and it can't be fixed. And guess what happens? Within 3 missed meals, people start behaving badly. Within 72 hours without power, you're in a whole nother ball game, bro. 72 hours without power and lives change, usually negatively. Our entire society right now is predicated on the successful flow of electrons. Repeat, our entire society right now is predicated on the successful flow of electrons. You need to start seriously considering what are you going to do if/when they stop flowing. Okay, moving on. You're welcome. I hope you had earbuds in and you're like, damn it, Bear, that hurt my ears. Yeah, I'm sorry. We have one guy on Patreon who's like, you need to self-regulate your volume because I can't listen to you with earbuds because sometimes you're super loud. Sorry, bro. Morristown, New Jersey, ER is asking for baby monitor donations so they can keep an ear out for ventilator alarms. Cool. Contact your representatives to protect gun stores from closures. Be aware of the huge influx of scams, Netflix account issues, fake coronavirus testing, etc. New scams. Stimulus payment related scams are going around. Fake apply now and claim yours texts with links and similar things. Hint, the government is not going to text you to give you money. Repeat, the government is not going to text you to give you money. Can you imagine if the IRS started accepting text messages? I would swamp those bastards daily with screenshots of receipts. Every day. Every day. Be like, come at me, bro. What else do you want? Hey, look, I PayPal'd some money. Hey, I bought some stuff at the feed store. Hey, I was on Amazon. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. My life would be brilliant if that was possible. I'd be like, figure it out. Figure it out, Uncle Sam. Figure it out. Support medical care workers. They are bearing the brunt of this and could really use your encouragement. Stay aware. In some areas, there have been reports of police impersonators pulling people over and asking for travel papers. One woman was followed home. Oh, and by the way, when people are like, oh, nice Glock, bro. See that? We do the things. That's mud and dirt from today. So, yeah. Hashtag getting after it. Now, my favorite part of the broadcast, assuming that my thumbs will cooperate and I can switch pages here. Silver linings. After several months of trying to conceive, one couple has been blessed with another child during this quarantine. Hashtag go team. Good work. Good work and congratulations. One viewer baked cookies with their spouse. Yes, baby. Your ball went in there? Okay, let's just leave that for later, okay? Okay. Remember the guy who takes virtual hiking trips with his kids? Their latest was Niagara Falls. He's also running to help take care of his asthma. How cool is that? Sam is doing well. Our dog who got run over by a truck. And when I see that truck, well, I'm not going to state in a public forum what's going to happen after I see that truck. We'll just put it that way. Hashtag robust compost pile. A viewer from Pennsylvania wrote that he has had an awakening and realized his purpose in life. He now feels a calling to prepare his family for the future. Bear and the content provided by Bear Independent was a part of that moment. Bless you, brother. Thank you. He says, thank you for your time and everything you share with the world. God bless. Thank you. That's awesome. Somebody's going to end up cutting onions in here and we can't have that live on television. Jeez. Thank you, brother. Honestly, thank you. One viewer says, my husband and I are still able to be working at our very low-risk jobs. We are making plans for firewood, growing all the food, been able to keep collecting supplies, and the kids seem to be thriving at home. Awesome. Another says, my 3 kids have been absolute troopers. We have expanded our garden by 420 square feet. Even though in our area that is very hard work because it's mostly rock, we had a good time doing it. Followed by playing with a frisbee and a soccer ball. My oldest daughter has come to realize that she really prefers to keep up the house and cook for the 5 of us 3 times a day than try to do what Dad does outside. We are all having a good time. At least every other day we play cards at night where we all talk about our day and what we want to do the next day. I love how close we have been becoming. Praise to the Most High. Amen. That is awesome. What are you doing? Trying to get a chicken out of the garden. Good job, honey. This was a real news headline recently. And I was sent this by one of the dance monkeys at the Intel staff. And legit, I was happy that I was not drinking something at the time that I read this. Astrophysicist gets magnets stuck up nose while inventing coronavirus device. Repeat. Astrophysicist gets magnets stuck up nose while inventing coronavirus device. An Australian PhD wound up in the hospital after, quote, inserting magnets in his nostrils while building a necklace that warns you when you touch your face, end quote. This byproduct of daily research is an Intel staff contribution and in no way reflects the opinions or personal tastes of Bear Independent, although I love it. A person who is out of work right now has been using this time to upgrade the garden and build a chicken coop at a semi-urban house. Quote, I love your YouTube channel, and it is the only place I feel I can get some real news from these days. Thank you for all you do. You are an inspiration for me, and God willing, we will get through this intact. Bless you. Bless you, bless you, bless you. To the extent that this channel can fill y'all up, I'm honored and humbled. We have always simply tried to live a preparedness lifestyle here and share that with y'all, show you what we do, not tell you what you need to do, give you sound advice and explain the world as we understand it. And I try and stay in my lane. I try not to pontificate on things I don't know about. And I really try not to be fear-mongering and doomer-pornish. I just want to explain the world as I understand it for your benefit. And to the extent that that has been a blessing to you, it blesses me in the process. So thank y'all. Note, Grindstone Ministries is currently looking for an attorney and a grant writer. Although we've had several of y'all reach out, and bless you, I've forwarded those to Renee, who is the Grindstone admin, and you should be hearing something back soon. Thank you guys and girls very much. But if you are an attorney or a grant writer and you're not looking for a paycheck, you just want to help, email us November Tango X-Ray Mike Alpha Golf. November Tango X-Ray Mike Alpha Golf at gmail.com. Now, lastly, the entirety of this report is again on Patreon. Thank you to all of our patrons. Patreon is the economic engine of the Bear Nation, and we literally could not afford to produce content on YouTube if it was not for Patreon. So thank you, Patreon. All of our patrons, bless y'all, and thank you so much for sticking with us even in these hard times economically. So I'm just honored and humbled. So thank you, thank you, thank you. What do we do today? I did a podcast early this morning, Isaiah 11 and 12, the root of Jesse, talking about Isaiah's prophecy of Messiah and what that looks like. So if you want to check that out, you can. It's on iTunes, it's streaming at bearindependent.com, and it's on Podbean. I mowed several large swaths so that we can till those areas tomorrow to plant a lot of corn and a vegetable garden for a neighbor. We did ham radio stuff all day, pretty much all day. In fact, this abomination right over here, if you can see it, is a generator light tower with lights on it, and then an omnidirectional antenna, and then a beam antenna up there. And it works, which is awesome. And we shot a Patreon video about that and uploaded that. The kids played, and the neighbor kids played, and there's just all kinds of playing and carrying on. They're still carrying on. My wife packed orders for the Bear store and dropped those off outside of the post office. And she talked with Grandma up the hill, which is awesome. That's what we did today. Bless y'all for being here. Let's talk to the Father and call it a day. Father Yah, thank you for the opportunity to do this. Thank you for this communications technology that we can converse, that we can talk, that we can come together in your name, Father. I pray that you would just put your hand on all the people within the sound of my voice, that you would stem the anxiety, that you would minister to these people, and that you would guide us in the ways that we need to go, Father. Thank you for being sovereign over all things. Thank you for using us, all of us within the sound of my voice, to do good works on behalf of your kingdom. And I pray that you would use this time, this period of time, as an opportunity to minister about you, about your Son, about your kingdom, to evangelize, to teach, to shine light. Father, I pray you'd fill us up. If there's anything within the sound of my voice that's not of you, I rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and command it to flee. Father, thank you for your word. Thank you for your Son. Thank you for redemption and restoration through Messiah. And thank you for walking with us daily. Thank you for this time, and we ordain it to you in Yeshua's name. Amen. Bless y'all. Have a great evening. Stay frosty. It's a weird, weird world, but he is still in charge.